Hello and welcome back to another episode of Quick Spin, the Autoweek podcast that gets to the essence of the automobile. Today, we are talking about the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GLC 43. That's right, the slightly less potent AMG crossover from our friends over at, well, Mercedes-AMG. You can take a look at this GLC 43 on our Instagram page right now. That's at Autoweek USA. And hey, while you're out there, why don't you head over to our Facebook page, click that like button. That we get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily sent directly to you. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about this GLC 43 in just 1 second, but first we have to pay the bills. In case you missed it, Road & Track is now fully loaded. The magazine you've loved for years is now the ultimate lifestyle magazine for automotive enthusiasts. And now, when you join the Track Club by Road & Track, you'll receive 6 supersized issues, access to digital content, dozens of partner privileges, exclusive invites to editorial events, and first dibs on insider automotive events both online and around the world. Hop on in by visiting roadandtrack.com/Autoweek. That's ROADANDTRACK.com/AUTOWEEK. And Patrick, tell me about this Mercedes-AMG GLC 43.
Well, Wesley, what was great about this was I actually had it for a long time. Usually I'm, got a weekend kind of in and out with the thing, but I was able to spend a good week and a half with the old GLC 43, and it was great. It took me through all different kinds of situations and road conditions and weather conditions, and it was a faithful companion the whole way. And I really only have, I'd say I pretty much only have good things to say about it.
You did record a quick little walk around to give us the highs and lows of this AMG GLC 43, which we're going to cut to right now.
I am walking around the 2021 Mercedes-Benz AMG GLC 43 SUV. So this is Mercedes, not super small, not super compact SUV, but it's on the smaller side of their kind of more regular SUVs, if that makes any sense at all. You kind of have to see one to get a sense. But what that translates to is it's really kind of the perfect size, at least for me, because you get the benefits of the SUV, you got room in the back, you got lots of cargo space, but you also drives really fun. But we'll get to that. So it's, I think, a really handsome vehicle, right? So this is the non-coupe version. I think the coupe version looks a little silly. I'm not a big fan of those, SUVs that trying to look all stylish. If you're an SUV, be an SUV. I really like how this one looks, and it looks sufficiently aggressive. This is an AMG after all. It just has that really athletic stance, right? The back tires, visibly are wider than the front, which really makes it look extra aggressive. You have the AMG badging everywhere, obviously. Really, really beautiful wheels. I love these. Really look good. 20-inch rims, and the front is really nice as well. They have those kind of new Mercedes design language headlights that they're putting in most of their vehicles, the SUVs, the sedans. But I think it looks really good on this SUV. The grille looks really nice. It's kind of blacked out, aggressive. Again, it has that AMG badging, so people know you mean business. And overall, I really think, again, I'm going to use the word handsome. It's a handsome SUV. It's sufficiently aggressive without looking obnoxious. And, it's also got the dual tailpipes, oval, so you even look badass from the back. And who doesn't like to look badass from the back?
Real fast, the hard facts and figures of the GLC 43. That's powered by a 385 horsepower twin-turbocharged V6. So that sounds good.
Yes, it is good. It was plenty fast. It's obviously not super light, and these days that's not like an eye-popping horsepower number, but it totally worked. I mean, it was really, really quick. I never was like, gee, where is this thing poking around? It's got plenty of power.
Plenty of power. And let's go back to the styling, because you mentioned that a lot in your walk around. Athletic is a good word for it. I would agree. The wheel choice is nice. Just the AMG-ified GLC look does really do the GLC styling justice.
Yeah, and like you can't really tell it's so much in pictures, but it really looks like it's like about to pounce. Like it just has that kind of, nervous cat kind of thing, which I think is very cool.
Also, the fun of the GLC and the AMG line in general is not only that it's a powerful, fun to drive car, but also the interior is exceptional. Is that
Exceptional.
The case? Is that the case with this GLC 43 as well?
For sure. It's really nice. It has everything where you want it to be, which is, of course, very important. The materials feel great. I think that there's certainly a good amount of the leather is kind of fake, but you wouldn't really notice it. It seems like it's real. It has the kind of, this particular one had that kind of two-tone, I guess it was sort of red and black inside, which always looks cool. But, the seats were that, perfect balance of being comfortable, but also really hold you in. And the steering wheel was great. And I think I actually talk about that in a future recording that we will hear. But it was great having everything on the wheel. Great infotainment system and, enough room in the back. Kind of gets to what I was saying about the size. I'm not a huge SUV person, but I think that this one really kind of hits that sweet spot of being, big enough, but not too big. So yeah, the interior is great.
Yeah, and I think that was a beautiful segue because you drove this thing.
I did.
And we're going to jump to that right now.
I am driving through the windy mountain roads outside of Asheville, North Carolina. And this old GLC is doing exactly what it should be doing. What I really love about this car is the driving modes really, really mean something. So, if I want a smooth ride, right? Don't want to feel the road as much, aren't as interested in power. I keep it in comfort. You're straight up in a luxury SUV. But throw it in sport or even better, Sport Plus, which you can do right on the wheel. And you can actually, there's a little tailpipe graphic on the wheel. You press that, you get a nice noise. And then you're suddenly, look, you're not driving a sports car, but you're really hugging the road. You feel it more. And the fact that it's an AMG really comes into play, and you really believe it. The interior is perfect Mercedes luxury and efficiency, and everything is where you want it to be. I love the infotainment system. It's super easy to use. It's a nice over 10-inch screen. We're kind of in the back road, so it's great that it has a 4G Wi-Fi that we can connect to stay in touch with the people that we're trying to ignore. And also, because this is an AMG, it has the cool feature where you can, use the infotainment system to track things like G-force and acceleration, 0 to 60 times, this and that. So if you want to play around with those kind of things and show off to your friends, what you've been doing with your stately SUV, you can. So all in all, this really is a pleasure to drive, and it really is whatever you want it to be.
If there's a young person in your life who's really into cars, give them the gift of R&T Crew, the ultimate subscription box by Road & Trek for kids ages 6 to 10. Every other month, a box is delivered to their door and stuffed with cool accessories, fun activities, and a magazine chock full of facts, stories, games, and more. Sign up now to receive the all-new Around the World box and enter code Autoweek for 10% off the annual box subscription. Just head over to rtcrew.com, that's rtcrew.com, and use code Autoweek. And it is what I want it to be, which is great. But also, real fast, Patrick, AMGs can sometimes get a bad rap, especially the sporty SUVs, for being a little firm with the suspension. Was that the case with this GLC, or was it supple enough to handle, the normal day-to-day driving?
I think keeping it in comfort mode is very important if you do not want to feel too much of the road, because once you start playing around, because, my being a sporting man, my default is generally to keep these vehicles in sport mode at the very least. So, but, to your point, I did keep it in comfort mode for the most part when driving around like the city or when the roads weren't good. What I could have done, which I didn't, but which thinking back, I could have used you can have an individual function in terms of the mode. So you could, keep the suspension a little bit softer, but have the steering be a little bit tighter. You could personalize it. So that may be what I would do with this, because once you start veering from comfort mode, the ride does become a little bit harsh.
And I think, Patrick, we're getting to the part where words get said that they can't be taken back.
Wow.
No, we're getting to the part that everybody, I think, has been waiting for. The hardest question I'm sure you'll hear all day. At a quick spin, we try to get to the essence of the automobile, and this GLC 43 is no exception. Mr. Carone, I posit to you, what is the essence of the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GLC 43? What's its raison d'etre?
So there are so many variations of SUVs these days, like in general. And even within Mercedes, I mean, it's crazy to break down like how many variants there actually are. So I want to talk about this one really specifically, right? Because first of all, it's the 43. So it's the smaller of the two engines. To me, plenty of power. I think if you're going for the 63, you're just, I don't really know what that would really be necessary for, other than just kind of really showing off, right, that you have the top of the line model. I talked about the walk around. I like this version of the design as opposed to the coupe. I think the coupe gets, besides losing cargo space, I think it's a little bit, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of those kind of like super sleek, trying to be all, coupe looking SUVs. So I like the way that this particular one looks, and I've said this many times, I really like the size of it. So it hits all of those things. Like for me, and, I think maybe for a lot of people, a lot of aspects of this very particular model hit a sweet spot. It's not an inexpensive vehicle, as I'm sure everyone knows. The particular one I had, all optioned out, ends up at $71,000, which for I think you describe it as a compact SUV. That's kind of a crazy amount, but you get a heck of a lot for that price. I'm not going to debate whether or not it's a bargain or not, but you do get a lot.
Now, for reference, for those listening that don't want to Google it really fast, the GLC kind of starts around the mid 40s, so around 43. So that's a steep jump from the base price, but it's still a ways to go from the 63. The 63 can get close to six figures.
Yeah, no, I bet that would. And so I guess the base one would be, is that like the GLC 300? I guess that's kind of the basic one.
Yeah.
I have not driven that one, so I can't really, make a frame of reference compared to that. But this was great.
No, I couldn't agree more. But I think that's a good place to put a pin in it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you could, head over to the Apple Podcast Store, drop a 5-star review. I'm seeing that more people are doing it. I really appreciate it. If you want to leave a review, I will shout you out and read it on here. Unless it's bad, then I won't do that. That's very rude. And also, while you're cruising the internet superhighway, if you could head over to our Facebook page, click that like button. That way, get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily sent directly to you. And I know I just said this, and I say this at the end of every episode. Without your listenership, none of this would be possible. So thank you for listening.